Hey everybody, how's it going? Mike here. Uh, Feeling a little bit better. Figured I would do a real quick video, not necessarily dealing with a movie this time, but with a book that came out, I think 2 weeks ago to the day on May 19th. Today is June 2nd, or it's after midnight, so June 3rd, but came out 2 weeks ago. And one of my favorite writers, Clive Barker, his new book, The Scarlet Gospels, which is his first book for adults since 2007. Can you believe that? He's come out with comics that he's been involved with. He's done children's books, but this is his first full horror novel for adults since '07. So, talking about 8 years there. And there's the back cover. There's quotes here from Stephen King, Quentin Tarantino, Wes Craven, Peter Straub. Really beautiful book. The inside of the flap, it's just kind of an esoteric picture like that. Again, the back cover, you see a Pinhead there. Here it is. And it is clocks in at not too long, 361 pages. And I just finished reading it today. Took me about 4 days to read. Haven't been feeling that great, so I've been doing a lot of reading. But I give this book really high marks. I'm not going to give it any kind of official rating, star system, or whatever, but I give the Scarlet Gospels a great review. I'm not going to sit here and do a whole plot synopsis, but it's kind of Pinhead versus Harry D'Amour. Pinhead we know, of course, from the Hellraiser series. He was first introduced to us in a Clive Barker novella, called The Hellbound Heart, which they turned into Hellraiser. And this was the first appearance of the Cenobites and Pinhead and the Legion of the Hell Priest. And then we had Hellbound 2, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, and Hellraiser 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the new one, which is awful. Doug Bradley's not even in it. But so we see Pinhead and we see him in hell, and there's a lot of action in hell, actually, and we actually see an appearance by Lucifer himself, described very in depth by Clive Barker, who, if you're a fan, you know the kind of crazy imagination, the great imagination that Barker has for this type of horror. And his nemesis in this novel really is Harry D'Amour, who was first introduced in Clive Barker's Books of Blood, which was a 6-volume series of short stories that he came out with in, I guess, the mid-'80s. I think Harry D'Amour's first appearance was in a story in that collection called The Last Illusion, which was later adapted into Lord of Illusions, which I have the Scream Factory edition here that came out not too long ago. I'll be featuring this in a future video. I just picked this up a little while ago. And as we see there, played by Scott Bakula, Harry D'Amour, in the movie. And so I've got all this stuff here that, first appearance of Pinhead in the Hellbound Heart, and the first 2 Hellraiser movies, Lord of Illusions. But that's all ancillary because it's all build up to the plot of the Scarlet Gospels, which starts out with some world-famous magicians being murdered. Harry D'Amour, our protagonist, investigates these murders, and we find out what's going on. I'm not going to throw any spoilers in here, and I don't claim to be a movie or a book reviewer as such. I'm certainly no Roger Ebert type, and I'm certainly not a literary critic. But I do love reading, as evidenced behind me, shelves upon shelves of books, and that's not the half of it. There's plenty in the basement. But yeah, so Harry D'Amour, and he meets some friends along the way. Some friends we've seen in other stories, some new characters, and they literally go to hell, and they literally battle Pinhead, a name that he does not like, by the way, Pinhead. And well, let's say Pinhead has a plan for hell, and he's been planning it for a long time, and anything else would be a spoiler. So again, just from the inside of the book, for nearly 30 years, the Hell Priest, better known to us by the descriptive mantle of Pinhead, has been one of the most recognizable and famous characters in the pantheon of horror. Long-beleaguered detective Harry D'Amour, investigator of all things supernatural, magical, and malevolent, has been battling his own personal demons for years. When he happens upon a lament configuration, and as we know, the lament configuration is the box, the puzzle box that opens the doorway to hell. So he happens upon a lament configuration, the box, in his investigation of the murders of these magicians. Well, let's see what it says. His own demons are replaced by the real thing as he finds himself caught in a terrifying game of cat and mouse that is bloody, disturbing, and brilliantly complex. And it goes on from there. But it's true. It's gory. There's some scenes of a sexual nature, but not like sexy sex, like weird Clive Barker sex. Not too many, though. There's certainly a lot of foul language. There's also a good deal of humor. It's by no means funny. Haha, Monty Python humor, but there's some sarcastic humor, some banter between the characters that's really enjoyable. And you really come to care for these characters. You come to really fear Pinhead and the legions of hell, but fear them in a way that you fear Darth Vader. It's you're interested in the intricacies of the underworld, and it's described in detail what goes on in Clive Barker's vision of hell with the Cenobites and the different types of demons. Very, very descriptive, very imaginative. I don't think I've ever read anything quite like it outside of Clive Barker stories and books. We really come to care for Harry D'Amour and his friends and compatriots that go into battle with him. So it has a satisfying conclusion, I believe. It's made up of a prologue, book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, and an epilogue. 361 pages. Fair size of print there. It's not humongously small print, but it's not gigantic print either. I know the lighting is not great. Forgive me for that, but, But, and here we see towards the end, it's like book 4, Fallout. And then there's a quote, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls, E.H. Chapin." So that's the way the book's set up, with a prologue, four books, and an epilogue. So, and I shouldn't finish the video with that. It is $26.99 US, $31.50 Canadian. So, if you can afford it, get it. If you can't, go to your local library. Maybe get the Kindle version, that's cheaper, or maybe wait for paperback, or maybe you can borrow it off a friend. But I do highly recommend it if you are a fan of Clive Barker or a fan of horror. If you know these characters, you'll really enjoy this book. If not, you will come to enjoy the characters, and maybe you'll be inspired to go back and revisit Lord of Illusions and the Hellbound Heart, and the good Hellraiser movies. So yeah, this is me signing off. Thanks for watching my first real video in a long time. And I'll be back with updates soon, hopefully, with my April and May updates that I never quite did. Like I said, the lists are finished. And thanks a lot, everybody, before I go. Thanks a lot for all your supportive comments and nice words. It's nice to know that people care out there. Life can be tough sometimes, and it brings a smile to your face, and it helps you get through the long night, whatever gets you through the night, as they say. And your guys' videos and comments really help. This is, you guys know who you are, and thanks for allowing me to be a part of this community. I really appreciate it. So, Clive Barker, Scarlet Gospels. Read it, enjoy it, and thanks again. I'll see you soon. Take it easy.